Hello, welcome back to my channel. Marina here, and I'm excited to come to you in a new video. You guys know that every time you see me inside this car, it's about to go down. Every time I record a video inside this car, it is a family meeting style video to say, come closer, family members, let us talk. Thank you very much, you guys, for all the people who shared their stories in my last video. You guys, those comments, the ones that were shared publicly, and especially the ones that I got privately, because I have a whole sector of subscribers on this channel who never say anything in public, but their comments, their perspective, their opinions about my videos, I hear them in my DM or on WhatsApp. That's where I hear their opinions. They come to me in a Nicodemus style. And I got that last week, and it's kind of why I was looking to have this conversation today, because the common theme that I saw in that video from the comments, from what people shared, is number one, the issues that I pointed out, the things that I talked about are not entirely Canada specific. It's like the same thing is happening all over the world, because people were commenting from the States, from the UK, from even Nigeria and other African countries, and the theme is the same, like that whole struggle, the cost of living, the job market. And it has just got me thinking, guys, like, life as we know it has changed. Like, life as I used to know it does not exist anymore. And I was having this conversation with my friends this week to say, I just don't think that nothing ever really became normal after COVID. Like, I feel like right now we can break our lives into pre-COVID and post-COVID. Like, that clear demarcation is in our faces. Nothing is the way it was pre-COVID. And one reason why I strongly believe that is that the isolation and being away from each other that we all had to adhere to during COVID, I don't think a lot of us have been able to come back from it fully. I don't think people have really now learned how to embrace the community that we had pre-COVID. People are still struggling with the isolation, with the being by themselves, with that loss of community. Quite frankly, I feel like that isolation took a toll on us, and we have not fully recovered from it. Because some of the messages that I got, some of the feedback that people shared with me, it was not just them sharing the struggles that they have had, but how alone they feel dealing with it. And I'm wondering, like, what happened? What happened to that sense of community? What happened to that, if one is burdened, all is burdened? That kind of community, that thing that we had, what really happened to it? I miss the times where things were simple, where life was a lot simpler than it is right now, where you only needed a little to get by. You didn't need 20 pairs of shoes. You didn't need 30 handbags. You didn't need to drive the top of the range cars. Like, the simple things were just enough. What happened to that time? What really happened to that time where we were actually our brother's keepers, where we looked out for each other? I miss that sense of community in itself, because that is a huge gap that is missing in the world as we have it today. A lot of people are struggling. Like, to move your life from one country to another already means that you are going to have to rebuild a support system. And for some people, they haven't fully been able to build that in Canada. I'm using Canada now as my example. Some people haven't been able to fully build that. So whatever struggles they're dealing with it by themselves. And I'm just wondering, like, what can we do? There has to be something we can do to break these silos that we all appear to be in. There has to be something that we can do to bridge the small silos that we exist in. How can we bring back our communities? How can we rebuild the communities that we actually need, so that nobody has to carry whatever burden they're dealing with alone? How can we do that? That's what has been on my mind this whole past week. One of the problems that I see we have, especially abroad, is there's almost that undertone of, I don't want to have to share my problem so that people will not talk about it. And I kind of laugh when I hear that, because if everybody is saying, I don't want to talk because people will gossip, who's now the one gossiping? If everybody is saying, I don't want to be the topic of conversation, who is actually doing the talking? Are you saying that in our communities, we don't have 2-3 people who you can trust, who you have built enough relationship with to understand that you share similar values and similar priorities, that you can trust and say, this is what I'm really going through, and you can rest knowing that you do not become topic of conversation if that's what bothers you? It's not possible that everybody is gossiping about you. I don't believe that. There has to be 1 or 2 or 3 people you can trust, that you can build real communities with and build an actual support system with. It takes a lot of intentionality. I say that a lot on this channel, that there are things that I've dealt with. There are seasons I've gone through in my life where I know that without the support system that I have right now, it would have been a lot harder for me to come out of those seasons by myself. I could get over some of the things I was dealing with. I could get strength because of the people that I'm surrounded by. Do I fear that people will talk about me? Quite frankly, I've passed that stage in my life. If you talk, that's fine. I've passed that stage in my life. If you are looking for something to say, enjoy yourself, right? So that sense of I would rather bear the problem by myself because I don't want people to talk, you might just be robbing yourself of an actual opportunity to build a real system. Now, this is advice to everybody. It is now very clear that we all need each other. In this season of our lives, in this season of the crazy capitalism, the crazy consumerism that has driven up the prices of everything, it is now very obvious that the solution to this is for us to go back to actual communities. It's for us to go back to the point where we can actually bind together as communities, whatever that looks like for us. Communities so that we can support each other. Because do we really need 20 pairs of shoes? What if there's somebody else who can benefit from getting 5 out of those 20 pairs? I felt very convicted this week. I was looking through my closet and I saw some things that I bought maybe 4-5 years ago that still had the tags on them from 5 years. If I've not worn it in 5 years, it means I can do without it. What if that can be a blessing to somebody else? I'm just thinking now to say, what can I do? What can I really do that will make the burden lighter for somebody else? What can we do to strengthen our community, especially among us immigrants, especially among us newcomers? What can we do to really bind together so that we become stronger as a community? What can we do? Those questions, it is imperative for us to ask them. What do you have that can be a blessing to somebody else? Not necessarily that they must pay you for. What do you have that you can offer for free? What do you have that you can give somebody else without expecting something back in return? It might be clothes. It might be winter stuff that your children have outgrown. We're getting into winter now. How can that be a blessing to somebody else? What do you have? What do you have? For those of you who are looking for jobs, what have you tried? Who do you know? Because referrals are a big thing in this part of the world. Who do you know? Are you leveraging those communities? Are you leveraging your network? Or you are pretending that you are fine so people don't know to refer you for work? Because that's another thing we're saying. You are struggling. You know that everything is not okay. But you continue to show up and package yourself in a way that is not real. In a way that is not the actual reflection of what you're going through. So people don't, if I'm thinking about who am I going to do resume review for, I'm not just going to pick any random person. You look like you're fine. I assume you're fine. All this sense of packaging, this sense of everybody looking like what they are not, it is not helping anybody. It is not helping any of us. So if you know that you need help, I'm not saying you should carry your problem on your shoulder and advertise it to the whole world. I'm saying there has to be that community, that circle you have that you can trust and say, okay, this is what I need, or this is the help that I need. Who can help me? No need for this packaging that doesn't make sense. Bottom line, people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling from what I've seen. And I just think we should start to go back to that sense of community, that sense of I am because you are, that sense of Ubuntu, that sense of, at the end of the day, we are all the same. How can we strengthen one another? How can we uplift the next person? If there's an opening in your office, who do you know that you can refer? Who do you know that you can talk to about the opening? Who do you know? Like, you should not be the one sabotaging other people's opportunities within your organization. You should not be the one standing in the way of another immigrant getting a job in the organization you work for because you want to be the only one there. Guys, you can tell that this video might be all over the place, but this is how I've been feeling this week. Just to say, a couple of things are going on. People are struggling. Life as we know it has passed. What can we now do with this new reality? We need that sense of community. Let's not even talk about the families that are struggling. The families that are falling apart because of stressors that are related to life as it is right now. The families that are struggling because money issues, adjustment issues, the people who are trying to replicate their villages in Canada, the people who have mindsets that they have refused to adjust and they are struggling to make sure it works here. A very simple example is, you know how you have a phone and you live in a particular country, there are some apps that you can download because it is relevant to the country that you're in. You now move from one country and go to another country, and then suddenly you will hear that this app is no longer, you cannot update this app because it's not how do they say it? When you're trying to download an app that's not available in your country, you will see, they'll tell you this app is not applicable to the country you're in. That typical example, I live in Canada. TikTok Shop does not work in Canada. When I went to the UK, I could have downloaded TikTok Shop. My sisters were using TikTok Shop in the UK. Will I now say, because it is the same phones we use, why should I not be able to download TikTok Shop? Even if I downloaded it in the UK and it works, when I come back to Canada, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to use it because it's common sense. It works in the UK. It doesn't work in Canada. A lot of marriages are struggling because a lot of you have dragged apps from your home country and you are forcing it to work in Canada. It does not work that way. There are adjustments that you would need to make whether you accept it or not. Life is not going to wait for you to come on board. Life is going to continue. Anything you miss because you have refused to come on board, that's on you. There are so many marriages that are struggling because of things like that. So many marriages are struggling because of the lack of teamwork. It's when you come here, you realize how porous your system is. It's when you come here, you now realize that you don't have any structure in your family. That in itself is not a bad thing. Realizing that you don't have a structure is not a bad thing. But not doing anything about it, that's where the problem is. Or looking at it and insisting that you will keep that thing like that. If you know that this thing is not working for your team, make adjustments. If you know that these ideologies or these structures that you have had coming from where you're coming from has worked where you're coming from, if it's not working here, go back to the table and say, okay, this is not working. Let's talk again. Money is such a big issue in so many marriages. There are too many women who have my money is my money, his money is our money. Look, the men are struggling. There are too many young men under the age of 50 that are dropping and dying. Have you not asked why? Are we not asking the questions why? Conspiracy theories say it's COVID vaccine. Younger people are now coming up with different things. That's why they're falling and dying. But do we remove the fact that there is an immense and enormous amount of stress that is on the average African man these days? Home and abroad. If you're abroad, even worse, because you're taking care of things here. You're also looking after siblings or parents or whatever responsibilities you have in your home country. Are you now going to add to the stress of that person by saying his money is our money, my money is my money? It's just going to fall down and die, and then you do it by yourself. How about that? Is that what you want? I guess not. Or the men who you now want the women to step up and take up financial responsibility with you, but you want her to retain 100% of the traditional roles that women are known, African women are known to take on. You have to go back to the table and have these conversations. You must go back to the table. Like I said, this video might be all over the place, but that's what's going on in my head. I've been bothered. This conversation has kept me up at night this week. I stay awake at night just thinking about it to say, what actually can we do? With this level of stress that people are under, with this level of, in some cases, some of the messages I got, it was hopelessness I touched in it to say, I've been at home for 18 months. I've been at home for 20 months looking for a job. Some of these people are people who have tech experience. Tech. Where they told all of us that tech was the future. We saw the tech boom. We also saw it burst before our very eyes. Tech people who have years and years of experience are having difficulty finding jobs. There's a lot of hopelessness in the air. There's a lot of stress in the air. Please, let's just try and be a little kinder to the next person that we meet this week. People are carrying a lot. If there's something that you have that you don't need, that you think will be a blessing to somebody else, extend that. Extend it. Look for somebody to be a blessing to this week in the way that you can. It might just be sharing one meal. It might just be giving out that winter jacket that your child has outgrown, or that winter boot that you no longer need, or give out those clothes that you no longer need. There are so many organizations around us. Dress for Success, Salvation Army, Value Village. Those places take donations. Look for something and be a blessing to somebody else. This might be a good time to now start to think about alternative sources of income. If you haven't already done that, we need alternative sources of income. What else can you do? What other service can you provide? What other products can you provide? If you are going to be providing products that people consume, their compliance expectations, depending on the kind of business you want to do, please just make sure that you're informing yourself. Make sure you are reading and learning what is applicable to the business that you want to do, and be compliant. There are no shortcuts. Compliance fees might look like it's a lot, but compare it to the fees you pay for penalties if you don't follow. Please don't try to cut corners. Don't try to cut corners. Do it the right way. Think up alternative sources of income. What can you do? What other service can you render that you can be compensated for? Start to think about those things, because I'm thinking in that direction as well. It is very risky right now to only have one source of income. It is risky. It is risky. Think about collaboration. If there's a business idea you have that you cannot run by yourself, find somebody you can collaborate with. Being able to collaborate is such a valuable thing that can strengthen a community. Think about collaboration, not competition. Don't see the next person as your competition. Think about them as your ally. How can we collaborate so that this thing is stronger? So instead of having individuals doing so many of different individuals doing this thing independently, what if you have 4 or 5 people come together and build one strong one? What if? So guys, I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. I don't even know what I'm going to call it. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but that video I had last week and the feedback that I received from it just opened my eyes to the fact that there's so much more that we can do as a community, as individuals, as a people, and we have to start to open our eyes to that. If you're struggling, please find a way to reach out. If you're struggling in any way, if you want to email me to just rant, my email address is in the description box. I'm going to be offering some free sessions this week. Some of them will be for resume review, some of them will be for just general settling advice for people who are struggling with integrating, and one of them will be for a family that's probably going through any struggles relating to settling down in Canada or whatever the issue is, but it will be for a couple. So one will be for a couple, and I'll offer some free sessions for integration and then to review your resumes. If you're interested in any of this, put a comment in the comment section of this video, and I'll pick randomly and just reach out to the people. If you have sensitive issues, please don't put the sensitive issues in the comment section. Send it as an email. My email address is in the description box as well. Please, everybody, if you don't take anything from this video, just take the fact that people are struggling. We need community at this point more than ever before, and we need to be extra kind to one another. So take an extra step of kindness for somebody this week. Well, thank you very much for watching this all over the place video. I hope you were able to pick 1 or 2 things from it. Until I come your way in the next video, it's your girl Marina. As always, I'm rooting for you. Please stay safe. If you're struggling, like I said, please share. Find somewhere to onboarding yourself, because at the end of the day, mentally we want everybody to be safe. Okay? Well, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.